Hi, my name is Alessandro Angelosi and that's a video tutorial coming from cgcookie.com for MaxCookie. This time we continue to talk about the Alien Planet mission environment we were working on, and we have to put the shader also on the back side of the scene. Then I like to add some more elements there over the ground, and we start to tune the sky and the final environmental effects. Then we can move to the animation, and then we can work to the spaceship to work on there, and maybe we can create some vehicle there to put on the road. So let's open the material editor, and I'm waiting because it is opening the slate material editor, so it takes a little bit more time. Let's switch to the compact to have more space, and that's fine. Okay, let's clean the material editor and let's repeat the shader from there. That's the material, it is loading the various texture. Okay, and we can start applying the same shader to this one, making a copy, and we call it, let's wait, it is preparing the shader there. Let's rename as background terrain. We can select the background shape there, and let's assign. Okay, let's start working on the various stuffs there, the various level, and you have to remember that we have the terrain, we have no road, and we have no mountain. So for the moment we can set to off the various shader, but we can completely remove the road texture. Okay, let's go in the other layers to see if we need something. Okay, that's the road, and we can remove the road. Okay, so we should have the basic shader, but I'd like to be sure, so let's go back there, and we have just this one. Okay, perfect. So let's make a little preview for this area. So there until there. Okay, stop, and let's check to have a low quality render. Okay, and render, and let's see the result. We should need the UV map, but for the moment let's say continue, because maybe we use it on the other layer, so it's not a problem. Okay, we have the first shader that is working, and we have to add also for the other mesh there. So let's select the other plane, and there we have a little bit of hide mountain, so we can make we can use it and assign the same, and we need, let's wait, we need for sure the map channel number 6, and we have to check also if we need something there for the bump. No. So let's select the foreground mesh, and let's try to find the 6, this one. So right mouse button, copy, then we can select this one, right mouse button, paste. Okay, we should have the same mapping actually. So let's go there. We have the shader, and we can make another test render to see if it is working fine or not. So let's close. We have to wait because it is rendering also the materials. Okay, let's make another test render so we can see if everything is working fine, and we can see we have to check again if we have all the maps we need. The map number 4 for sure it's not useful because we are not using this map on the other meshes inside the scene, so it's not useful. It seems it is working fine, but I have to check what happens if we have no let's select the camera, the illumination. So let's select the light. I was checking if we have something that is not visible actually. And for sure we have just a category not visible, so let's pick the daylight, and I like to remove just for a moment the area perspective, and I like to see the same area, re-render it to see the differences without the fog. I made a copy. Okay, so we can see how the shader will look. Perfect. Okay, so let's continue working in this way, and maybe we can need to have a little bit of more visibility there for the texture. So let's wait for the update there. Okay, we have it, so let's go at full screen, and there we have this texture. And maybe we can have a little bit less luminosity, and maybe we can have a little bit more contrast. So let's set the contrast to 0.2, and there maybe a little bit more luminosity because it's really dark. Let's try. I like to see more detail, and then when we have more detail we are fine, and we can add maybe some geometric detail. Now it is too much dark, so we can stop it back there, and let's go back to 4. contrast will be 0.1. Maybe 0. Sure, let's try with 0.1 and render. Okay, then I think we have to add a little bit more detail using the geometry on the back side. So let's close there. Let's select this one. Sorry, this one. Okay, that's the displays. Let's see without displays and with the displays again. Okay, let's try to have more displays. Let's try with 15. Because you know we have a lot more detail there, so obviously we see more stuffs. And let's see the back shape there, and this one also has 80 meters. Let's go for 180. Okay, so we have more cows. Let's make the last test, and then we try to add some details just directly over the mesh. We have to wait for the entire render. We see something more than before, but obviously there we have a lot more detail, so we can let's pick this one, and I like to see one of it, or maybe we can directly add another. Okay, let's set one, and let's pick this one again, and we add another displays, but maybe we can search also to see more. This one. Okay, you see that now we have more detail, so maybe that's the right time to see if it works fine. Okay, you see we have some detail now. So maybe now it's useful to add some detail with another texture. So let's close there, and let's pick again this one, and we can add another layer of texture over this one with more detail, maybe bigger than this one, but it will be useful to have a more realistic look. So on this side of the shader we have this area there, and we can mix This one can be moved up. Let's wait. Sorry. It is really slow because we have a really huge model there. Let's go maybe for another, so we don't need another substance, so we don't need to search for texture. And let's load texture, and let's see if we have something that can be used. Maybe the second ground texture we have there. Oh, sorry, I stopped the recording and we start again to work on the scene. Okay, we are back with a new shader, and let's go on the second map there. And we can go there and say to see the map inside the environment, because I like to see if it is big enough. Let's remove the blur. Let's have a little bit more age. And I like to see with this shader, and then we can tune to have both the shader visible. It is not bad because it gives us some detail there, you see, but maybe we have to scale it a little bit, and we have to have the texture there, the map. So let's say 2 and 2 to have more detail. Okay, and then I like to see why we have no maps there on this plane. So let's say UV map, and that's the one we can see to acquire from this mesh as absolute, so we have to sim scaling. Okay, now it should work better, or maybe we can pick, because I think maybe that we have a problem with the other map. That's the number 6. Okay, so that's not fine because we are using the wrong. So let's reset. Okay, and let's scale it. Maybe we can use it 10 times. Let's wait for the other 10 times. Maybe 20 on this side. Let's isolate this one so we can see better the detail. Let's say 20 again, also on this axis, and 30 on this axis. Let's exit from isolation and let's see again if it works. maybe we have to use a little bit darker color, but maybe it works also mixing with the other one. So let's close, and let's say there that it is visible maybe at 50%. So again, over this one, let's say 50%. So we have a mixture of that texture. It seems not bad. Okay, let's make maybe just a little bit darker the second map we put there. So back, let's say luminosity maybe 0. Let's wait 0, 4. Okay, and save. Now I'd like to add some detail directly on the model using maybe a scattering. Okay, let's model a simple rock, and to do this we'll use a box, sorry, a sphere, and we'll start to maybe tools, isolate, and there we can go for a perspective and zoom. Okay, so we can see directly just this one, and let's go for hidden faces there and convert to editable poly, and we can use a little bit of paint the form. So I like to change a little bit the shape. Okay, let's rotate also there, and again with a shift. Okay, then a little bit of pinch, but let's say 200, a little bit bigger, 500. Okay, you see, so I'm giving a more linear shape, more like a rock. And let's rotate, and we need it also there. So paint the form, pinch, also there. Okay, so okay, then I like to add a little bit of noise, and we can use directly the noise there as fractal. And let's start using a bigger scale there. Okay, then we can use a turbo smooth, so you see we have a little bit more detail. And again, let's convert to editable poly, paint the form, and we can use gain. So you see we are giving a more rocky shape because it is too smooth. Let's rotate. Okay. Then let's try with the noise, strength 10. Obviously, we'll have not so much detail because if we have too much detail, it will be too much slow, and it can be a really big pain to render. So let's remove the adjust faces. Okay, that's the basic shape. We can use just a little bit of to create a little bit of detail in some area, and then with a shift, something like that there. Let's rotate. I like to change a little bit the shape also there. Okay, and the pinch. A little bit less. Okay. Let's try with 5. Let's rotate there, and I like a little bit also there again. Okay. Okay. We can call it rock. Exit from isolation and save. Let's try just to have a little bit less polygons. So now we have near 2000, and we can go there for the Pro Optimizer. Calculate. Let's see if we can have a good detail with maybe 30%, 40, 50. Let's try with 50. Okay, let's collapse to editable poly. Let's go to have the scattering. So scatter, and we need the distribution. Let's go inside the camera, and let's say that the first one is this one. So maybe we need, let's go back and let's make a clone. Okay, this one will have the scatter, pick distribution, and that's the distribution. Let's say how many copies we need. Okay, let's use as best scale, let's go for 20, and let's say that something we can do is to work on the rotation, and we can say that we like to have until 75% scaling on both axes, and we can say that we like to have rotation by 60° there, 60° there, and 85° there, or maybe, sorry, 0, and over the z-axis 360, so we have a lot of rotation. Lock aspect, so we have the same aspect over every axis. Let's try to have let's see, let's add maybe a little bit of chaos over the vertices, and let's have a little bit less, maybe 5, and let's control again the scaling. Okay, and let's see what happens if we have 500 copy. Okay, I like to see if it is interesting or not, and then maybe we can add it to the other area there, or we can decide to have it but with a different scaling. So let's see a preview. So that's the result. You see that we have a little bit of more detail, having some rocks around. Maybe we can have also more if we need. But now I like to make the same thing on the other area there. So we can select the first rock. We can make a copy so we can use it maybe in other cases. So hide. Let's reselect the rock, and let's go for scattering, pick distribution, and we start using this one. So you see that we have just one copy. Let's see if we it is not so visible. Let's go back in this way, and let's try to have 50 copies. Okay, now we are starting to see it. This time I like to have a different scaling, so let's go for maybe 35. Okay, and a little bit of chaos, maybe 3. And let's go there as area, so we have a different, and let's say 360 and 360 and 360. And regarding the scaling, let's say that we have 200%, 65%, and 50%. A little bit of chaos. Okay. Now we can see a preview of this area. Render. Takes a little bit of time. You see that now we have 6 million polygons. We have a lot of detail, part in modeling and part with the scattering and also the displacement. So and then I like to add, you see that it adds more detail to the environment. And now we add more also there, so we need the other one. So I like to use the copy, so an hide by name, rock, and let's select, let's select the rock number 2. Okay, and let's make a clone. Okay, this one will be used as scattering, pick distribution, again this one, perfect, and let's say 5%, maybe 10%, and I like to have 150 duplicates with area. Maybe we need more. Let's try with 300. We should see a little of it, a lot of it. So transform regarding the rotation, 360, 360, 360, and the scaling, let's say that we can have 65% over every single axis. Let's see again. Okay, you see that we are starting to see the tail all over there. Perfect. Now we use more copies. Let's say 550, and then we select the last rock. I mean that's the rock 2, and we go for scatter, pick distribution, and we go on the back. Okay, and on the back we say to use, let's see, 200. Let's isolate to see better. Maybe the mesh is so big, so let's go there. Let's see if we have more. Right, we are using a really huge amount, so maybe we can do something like, let's go for I'm thinking what we can do to have a better result, because in this way we have we can see how it looks, but we need maybe a different configuration. Okay, you see we have just some rocks. Let's try with area. We should have a better, but we need more duplicates to see it. Let's see with 1500. Let's see, we have something in some area, maybe it can be enough to have the look I'm searching for, so just to have some little detail. And we can say that we like to have a little bit of scaling, maybe 25% of variation, and we can also rotate the staffs. So let's go there and let's say that we have 360, 360. We have to fix the number there. Okay, so let's exit from the isolation and let's save. Okay, now we can put around again the area perspective, and let's say maybe that we have this one at 900 meters, and let's make a test run. Okay, so that's the actual result, and I think that we have all we need for the environment. Now I'd like to add some clouds there, something like a strange dust over the environment, and then we are ready to have the scene to work on the animation side. So for the moment that's all, and I hope to see you back on MaxCookie to check for new tutorial coming from cgcookie.com. Bye.